It's Lani's Esoteric Brunch live on SOC Radio. Come on in, take your seat as the magic starts with Lani.
Good morning and welcome to Lani's Esoteric Brunch for this Tuesday, 1st of, I nearly forgot the date then because it's a new month, the 1st of August, first day of the month. Fantastic. I'm speaking this morning with Anne Aleckson, Australia's leading channel and CEO of the Mystery School for Women. Hi, Anne.
Lani, hello. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me and for allowing me to share with your audience. I'm so excited.
Well, so am I. I've been looking forward to this since we spoke about it. So the title of our show today is Evolution, the New Human and Self-Empowered Spiritual Sovereignty. Did I get that right?
Perfect.
Pronunciation. So it's just fascinating. So we're just going to be talking about everything that you do and also about being a new human, which sounds amazing too. So we'll just begin with you're a direct voice channel for the non-physical guides known as All That Is. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Well, okay, so let me first explain what I mean by direct voice channel, because in this spiritual arena, there are so many different words that we use to describe ourselves. And one person might call themselves, let's say, a psychic medium. Someone else might call themselves that, but they actually have quite different skill sets.
Yep.
As I'm sure you know, there are so many different ways of doing this work. So for me, when I say direct voice channel, I have the innate ability to move my consciousness, my human consciousness, out of the way and allow a highly evolved non-physical stream of consciousness or a super consciousness stream to come in and to use my voice to speak words. Sometimes my voice changes quite a bit and sometimes it's not so noticeable, although all of the people who've worked with me over the years tell me that even if I don't sound different, they know it's different. They can feel the energy of it. And sometimes they also take over my right arm and do healing work with light healing. So those are the two things that I mostly do. And, of course, when that happens, all of my clairs come awake, all of my other innate abilities, because we've got hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds of different abilities, as I'm sure you know.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. Yes. That really sounds interesting, how you said that you change, sometimes you may change voice. So does that, or tone perhaps, does that indicate that you sort of go off in a subconscious realm or a trance or hypnosis? Is that, or is that sort of how it works?
Well, I actually
You're
call
channeling?
I say to people that I go into a light trance state. Sometimes it's almost so light that I switch between my conscious mind and the guides. Sometimes it's a deeper trance so that they come through very strongly. That's when you can hear there's this whole different accent going on. Some people have said I sound Russian. Some people say I sound Chinese. To me, I just sound exactly the same as I always do.
And exactly. So you don't detect the subtle differences. But so if you not speak another language, but if you speak in another accent when you're channeling, where do you think that comes from?
I have a theory.
How does that come about?
I have theories on all sorts of things, but so when the guidance stream first started speaking through me about 13 years ago, I hadn't yet really stepped into doing my own soul work. So I still had a lot of healing to do. My vibration was still quite low.
Yeah.
In that I had wounding that needed to be healed, and I had, some some self-love to do. Well, a lot of self-love, actually. Self-forgiveness, self-responsibility, all of these things. And so the way that this is the theory that I have about it, is that when I first started doing this, my vibration was lower than it is now. And so the stream of consciousness and I didn't really blend together very well.
Yep.
It was like rough, like a bumpy road.
Yes.
As I have worked more and more and more, as I have over the past 13 years, diligently raising my vibration, and my frequency has become more refined, it's much easier for me to now just simply slip into that state.
Wow.
Without all the preparation and without it being so bumpy.
Yeah, sure. So does that mean that you had a couple of, not blockages, but teething issues in the beginning? Is that what you mean? Or with that channeling?
Only in my own mind. You see, our biggest problem is that we have these belief systems. Like for me, it was very hard for me to understand that how could I be someone who could do this thing? I was just this small human being who had never had spiritual experiences before, or at least not that I'd remembered. I came to remember many of them. Who was I to have this thing happen to me, this relationship that felt like I was having a conversation with God, essentially? Who was I? Because, I grew up Catholic, so you have to talk to God through a priest, don't you? You can't possibly do it yourself, which we now know is not true, of course.
Yeah, sure. So what drew you into it then? What drew you towards that sort of channeling work or all that is
Look,
connection?
I hate to say it, but it's that cliche. Life was not going well for me. I was in a bad marriage. I was in a bad job. I was overweight. I was sick. I was unhappy. And one day, as I was complaining about it, as I did every single day, someone said to me, you can actually choose to be happy, and I actually felt like punching him. How dare you?
I understand that. Yeah.
So, but then for some reason, and I call it divine timing, whatever. For some reason, some part of me kind of grabbed onto that. Can you really? Can you really choose to be happy? So I set off on a little journey of discovery to see if you actually could make yourself happy. And I started reading all the books and everything, which then led me to the number one thing they all recommended was meditation. So I started meditating and then I started hearing a voice, and then I thought I'd gone bonkers.
Yep.
And then, of course,
this is an unusual sort of path to take for many people. A lot of us are so out of touch with.
For me, God, it was terribly frightening. And so then I found that I wasn't alone. There were other people doing this, and I happened upon a group of people. Oh, by the way, just as I was coming into learning about happiness, I found Abraham Hicks.
Oh, I was going to ask you about
Hicks.
him. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I actually carried around Ask and It Is Given, their book, for 6 months. I carried it and never read it for 6 months. I even took it on a plane to Las Vegas and back to Australia again, and I still hadn't read it. But then the day that I opened it up and started reading it, I read the first page. Jerry was introducing Abraham, and I actually started crying.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is really weird. There's something going on here. So I was familiar with channeling in this way. I didn't realise that it was something that I could do or would do. But then after it started happening for me, through my relationship with people who knew Abraham and have also been following the teachings, this was 13 years ago, I found a group of them that were offering to hold space for people who were coming into this sort of work. And so I joined them, and they held space for me while I started to voice it, and there you go. It all started happening.
And so,
but it was scary.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's an intriguing, almost mysterious world, isn't it?
Oh, my Lord, it is.
A lot of people.
It becomes less mysterious, actually, as you talk more about it. And I'm very out there with it, I've always been very much, this is who I am, even though it scared me, even though I thought people would think I was nutters. My family do, and that's okay.
They do.
But,
so you use the present tense there.
Yeah, well, they do. That's exactly right. But it's okay. I have, as I've refined my vibrational frequency and as I've worked with my own guides, I have conversation with them every single day. They help me in my business and in my life. Yep. So I've gotten okay with it, because I also understand it's just simply, and this is for each and every one of us, not just me, it is simply another aspect of ourselves.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
So you mentioned guides. Now that's plural there. So are there certain guides? Are they specific? Do you call them in for certain situations?
So, and I'm a little different than a lot of people around this. So when they first came in and spoke to me, they said, "We are all that is." And I was like, okay, cool. So you're all that is. That's what I'm going to call you. And then everybody kept saying to me, yes, but they must have a name. And I tried as I could to say, well, this is the name they gave me. Why does it have to be something like an Abraham or a Seth or any of these things? And I followed that for a long time because, as I said, I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was doing something wrong. So I said, okay, I'll find a name for them. In fact, one of the people that was holding space for me said, I know who it is. And when she said the name, it caused a great experience in my body. I had goosebumps on goosebumps and felt like I was going to throw up. So it felt like recognition.
Yeah, okay.
So we started using that name. But I've come back around to all that is, because every single time I connect, they say, we are all that is, and so are you. So that's what I now have. I've come back to know, you know what, it is what it is. It can sound weird to other people, and even to people who do what I do, it can sound weird, but I'm okay with that.
Well, that's okay, exactly, because you're channeling through all that is, and that's really... that doesn't matter who you're channeling through if you're guiding and assisting people.
Exactly.
But people do like a defining label, don't they? They like a name to grasp.
That's why I write it the way that I do, you see. So I capitalise or A, and then I put a hyphen, that, and hyphen is, so that it looks like it's a name. Sometimes some of my clients call them ATI, A-T-I.
Oh, right. How interesting.
We were just having fun with it and trying to figure out how to make it into a name. But the fact of the matter is that we are all, as human beings, and this moves into the evolution that we're going through and how we're becoming these new human beings.
Yep.
Each and every one of us, we are, as they say every time they come through, we are all that is, and so are you. We're the non-physical all that is, and you are the physical manifestation of all that is.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is that they're just simply other aspects of us. We are just the physical manifestation of that.
Right.
And
so
all
they're
that
in us and we're in them.
Nothing
is that
out.
What you're saying?
Exactly. Exactly. We all have the ability, as we raise our vibrational frequency, to tap into the non-physical aspects of us. And our non-physical aspects go back to the beginning of time.
Yep, sure.
And into the future, to the end of time.
So, I mean, there are all sorts of terms and labels and names thrown around in the law of attraction circles. One of them is all that is. Sure, that's, if you consider that one word, or some people might consider it three. But because it is one entity, or if you like, or one sort of unified energy.
A stream.
A stream. What do you think of all that is being otherwise defined as the universe, for example? Is that something? Yeah.
For me, it is all one and the same, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you have refined your vibrational frequency to a level where you live in the energy of oneness, there's no separation. So you and I are one, as is all that is, as is the universe, as is God, as is any representation of anything, all that is. So so you step into a place where you truly know that There
Yeah.
is nothing else. There is only the one thing, and you're looking at it through human eyes.
Yep.
But there's another aspect looking at the human person through non-physical eyes.
Sure.
But we're all the same.
It's a fascinating concept.
Everything. It's hard to put your head around.
It really is. And I think being humans in a physical body, we do like to have that definition because it gives us a boundary. It gives us something to grasp onto, I suppose.
Yeah,
but,
and I love a good paradox, honestly.
Yes.
Now, when I say that I live in oneness and I truly understand oneness, I also, paradoxically, believe that we are each individual and unique.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. At the same time. And you can believe that simultaneously. I mean, that is completely, workable, I feel anyway.
No, I agree.
So let's move into what you were just speaking about, which was, how we are becoming new human beings. So the evolution that humanity is currently going through, including the awakening of our natural spiritual gifts, as channels for source and higher self, what can you just explain a bit about this evolution?
Sure. So I don't know if you're aware, but there's scientific evidence that they measure the Schumann resonance of the Earth all the time, and it's risen quite extensively. I can't give you numbers and things like that, but it's way higher than it's ever been before.
And what do you mean by resonance? Sorry,
the frequency, the energy, or the vibration of our planet. So it's a natural evolution that we are going through as a species, as a planet, as a solar system. All of these things, because time doesn't stop. Even though time doesn't exist, it doesn't stop, and we keep marching through. So we grow and we evolve, and every experience that we have helps us to become more. So the Earth is going through an evolution, as we all kind of know since 2012 and all of these sorts of things. It's quite common knowledge these days.
Yeah.
And there's scientific proof around it. So they measure the Schumann resonance, which is really high these days. We have lots of light photons flooding the planet.
Wow.
All sorts of things.
Is that a collective energy?
Yes, yeah. So just lighting the whole planet up. And when I say lightening up, I mean light as in bright, white, shiny light, but I also mean less weight, so lightening it up, right? And so because the Earth is going through this, anybody whose feet are on the Earth are also going through it. And by that I mean not just the human beings, but all the beings on the Earth are going through it as well. Now, some of us are also actually developing and working on our own frequency because we've recognised that this thing's happening and we want to be part of it, or even perhaps we came here as a soul to play a part in it.
Yeah.
So as we work on raising our own personal vibrational frequency, we contribute to that.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing by raising our individual frequency is that we are evolving our physical body. First of all, it is changing. Our DNA is changing. Our structure is changing. All sorts of things are changing. Lots of people have what they call ascension symptoms.
Yep.
And ascension
and
flus and things like this.
What are some of those?
Well, okay, so lots of things like, I mean, even many people talk about ADSD and things like ADHD, as being part of those symptoms, that our children are coming in different now because they need to be in a different world, and we're still in the old world, although I like to think that we're in both worlds. So, but you know, around full moons and around times when there's a lot of photon light coming in, or there's a lot of sun flares, solar flares coming in, a lot of people who are on this path, who are actually physically doing work on raising their vibrations, start to get symptoms like colds and flus. It's just our old way of being releasing from us.
Yep, sure.
It's just our bodies changing, lots of aches and pains, a lot of things like the diseases that many people have trouble being recognised by the medical profession these days. Some of those things are symptoms of our evolution as well. Yeah. But I think we're starting to understand that now more and more.
Is that to do with, inexplicable symptoms, diseases, conditions, whatever? And I always, by the way, when I'm writing about health or I always write disease as two words, as in dis-ease.
Dis-ease, absolutely.
Because I believe it is it's a lack of ease in you. There's something your body's trying to tell you there.
It is.
Now, with that, do you think that's to do with, you might not, I'm not sure what you know about astrology, but we do shift into different ages, like the age of, we're just coming out of the age of Pisces, because it goes backwards for some reason through the zodiac. So the ages go backwards and we're coming into the age of Aquarius, or we might already be sort of making that transition.
Yes.
In the midst of it. So do you think that's got anything to do with this current evolution?
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Aquarius is a very, human sign, humanity. It's all about big shifts, changes, even shocking changes, revolutions.
Yes, well, that's really what we're going through. I call it a revolutionary evolution.
Right.
Because I believe that's what's happening. Look at the world around us at the moment. If we haven't yet risen up and really stood for what we want the world to be yet, we are moving towards it more and more.
Okay. Yeah.
And as you raise your vibrational frequency, look, one of the very first things that happened to me, now I focus a lot on peace, because not long after I started having connection and communication with all that is, we were discussing purpose, my purpose and their purpose, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I came up with this, or they came up with, we collectively came up with this expression of our mission together. So it is world peace through inner peace, one person at a time. World peace is the collective, all that is mission. And my part of that mission is one person at a time, helping them achieve inner peace.
Yeah, okay.
So I do that. So just explaining why I'm about to go where I'm about to go with regards to war.
Yeah.
So I believe we are moving towards peace on Earth. Now, when I first started having these experiences and started to really work on myself to be I know this sounds weird and I would never express it this way, but it just feels like right to say, to be more godly.
Yep, okay.
Right?
No.
I would find myself unable to even want to pinch someone because it would hurt me.
Yes.
That level of empathy and compassion, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're moving towards. And the more of us that come together like this, that talk about it, that do our own personal work alongside the planet, which is doing its work, alongside each other, because as I raise my vibration, everyone that comes within my boundaries has to also have their vibration risen. Now, this is just not me. Please understand. I'm not saying I'm all this. I'm saying we all are.
I know exactly what you mean. It's
just
a resonance
want to be clear
thing.
about that.
You affect everything and everyone around you.
Exactly. So if I start with the vibration of I couldn't even pinch you because it would hurt me, and we all step into that, and then we get to a place where no one could pick up a gun and shoot someone else.
Yeah, sure.
Now,
so you believe
happen in my lifetime?
Yeah.
But I've seen peace on Earth. Yes, I have seen it in a vision. Yes.
Yeah.
I even wrote down a number of years, and it was 500 and something years, but that was quite a few years ago. I did write it down somewhere. I'll have to find that one day.
So we've still got about 499 to go, probably.
Yeah. But I've seen it.
Yeah. So what does being a new human or evolved human look like?
Well, in its simplest form, it looks like a human being in a physical body, but also in their light body. So being your light body, walking on the earth as a human being.
So, but what does it, this isn't something one can grasp, is it?
Yes, I see what you're saying. What does it look like on a practical level?
Well, I suppose so, but I don't think you can really. I don't think that's knowable.
Well,
I don't know.
No, you're right, and there can only be theories, of course.
It can be felt.
But for me, it feels like it feels honestly to me. Okay, so I often say that when people say who are your ideal clients, hate that question, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
My response to that is I am here to work with and walk with spiritual masters awakening, because that's the future. We are all spiritual masters. We just haven't awakened to it
way
yet.
Of looking at it, yeah.
And so the world will be filled with spiritual masters.
And there's no such thing as an ideal client, in the sense that people come to you when they're receptive to it, I suppose.
Absolutely. And when they feel your frequency. I do a lot of work with on a practical level with clients, attracting clients through your vibration, through your own frequency.
Yeah. Well, that's how it works, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So can you tell us about your seemingly innate ability? I've never worked with you, but I have had a great look at your website, and it's fantastic. And I really do resonate with all that information, because this is really, such a special topic to me. So can you tell us about this ability of yours to direct voice channel the highly evolved non-physical stream of consciousness that is all that is?
Yeah, sure.
So they provide information, healing, transformation through you?
Yep. So I'll just what happens is when I'm going into session with the client, now I have this connection all the time. In other words, when I'm sitting here doing my work, and I'll be conversing and having that connection anyway, because it's an all the time thing. It's not they're out there and I need to call them in. They're actually here all the time, because they're, as I said before, while they are what you might call guides, and even some of them are recognised spiritual masters, and archangels and things like that. But I don't see them as separate energies. I see them all as a collective energy. So I can recognise when Jesus walks in the room, metaphysically, and I can recognise when Archangel Michael is with me, and I could recognise when Abraham or Seth or anyone else is with me. But they're just all part of all that is, because, again, none of it's separate.
So you recognise, I wouldn't use the word different energies, but you recognise the differences of frequencies with...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it depends, if I've got someone in my if I'm having a session with someone and they're a Catholic like I am, more strongly than anything else, Jesus will come through.
Okay.
Because they speak to your belief system.
Mm-hmm.
They speak to your belief system. Sure. So whatever you believe in, that's why, there's a lot of people who it's all about angels. Because that's the belief system that they are choosing to live in. Yep. For other people, it's all about, look, there's even people who think it's all about, must be something evil and devilish.
Yeah.
That's because that's their belief system.
That's the other side, isn't it? Or the other.
We truly do. So when they come through, they speak to your belief system.
Sure.
So they meet you where you are, essentially.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, where do you want to be? And when we're told where you want to be, we show you how to get there.
Yep.
We never tell you where to get to, because as a human being, that's your free will. You get to make those choices, and you can change your mind at any minute.
So you talk about free will, but what does that mean for one of these energies or entities, or however you want to define that? What does it mean for them to guide you, as in the right direction, if you like?
Yes, yeah. So,
and we'll talk about your work with Go Direct with your guides as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I actually have this. That's what I talk about a lot. It's a 5-day video series that I offer for free. It's called Go Direct with Your Guides. So that you can get clear and practical guidance for your life and business 24/7. So you can have that experience for yourself. Now, in that program, I speak about how to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
And how to ask those questions so that you receive the best guidance. So I spend a lot of time saying to people, don't ask me when I'm going to meet my soulmate.
Yes. Yeah.
Please don't ask me that. Yes, you can ask me that. And we might even be able to tell you, but we probably won't, because you're the only person that exists. We come back to that oneness. So if you don't have that thing, why are you choosing that? Where is something, the thing that you're looking for is not being found within yourself. So go find it within yourself first.
Yep.
And then everything that matches it will come to you. That's the law of attraction.
Yep.
You know?
So you have to resonate, you have to sort of emit the vibration of what you're hoping to attract. But the thing is, a lot of people have...
you have to become the vibration of the thing you want to attract.
So how do people reach? You mentioned earlier that you've what's that word? Heightened your vibration or your frequency.
Yes.
Now, how do people sort of achieve that higher frequency to attract what they are wanting?
The absolute first step is to start looking at any wounding that you have. Any
wow, okay.
A wounding, as in any blocks that you have, to look at your shadow side and to see what's going on there, and to make friends with it.
So you're saying that look at your wounding is the first step, but on the sort of more wounding, can have negative connotations. So why don't we look at the healing side of this? Now, what do you recommend that people... I guess it's an individual thing, so each person has their own healing that they need to do, and you feel that that's the main block, that people haven't addressed their healing properly? Is that...
Well, if you have any... Okay, so when I look at someone, I can actually see, like, black lumps inside them. They're like blockages. So if they've got muddy blocks, I'll see that in their livery area as a black spot, right? Sometimes
is that like an aura sort of vision? Or?
No, I don't see it with my eyes.
Oh, okay.
I see it with my inner eyes.
Sure.
You
can just pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we talk about light and dark, and so I see them as dark spaces within you. And if you can bring the light into it by healing it in whichever way works for you, or whichever way you need to do it, then you remove the darkness, replace it with lightness, and you start to lighten up. So your vibration becomes cleaner, so to speak.
Yeah.
Of course, there's so much involved in all of this, but I'm just trying to give a general. So clearing out any blocks and wounding. So you have to really go into your childhood if you wish to. Now, I know this is the preferred way for many, many people, and there's lots of healers out there who do this work. Brilliant. And if you're called to do this work, do it that way. For myself, as I started to work with my guides, as they started to come through, this was the first job that they instructed me in, to do it for myself.
What was that?
We each have
a healing.
We each have the ability, to clear this stuff. We all have that ability within ourselves. So if you... like I was at the time completely broke. By the way, I forgot to mention that. That was another problem that I had, is that I was leading myself to homelessness constantly because I had so much money problems, which of course all came down to self-esteem and self-love and all of these things.
Well, it all erodes your soul, doesn't it? All this
Exactly. So one of the first things that they schooled me in was to do my own healing. They shared a process with me that I use with clients, obviously. Yeah. That I call it the 1 minute miracle. It actually takes less than that. It takes it takes a conversation. I had a client once say that 10 minutes with me was like spending months with a coach.
Fantastic.
And it can happen that easily. But again, I want to say, once I've done this for someone, I then send them out to do it for themselves forevermore. Whenever any block comes up, do this same thing. We all have the ability. I now suggest to people, and if anyone's listening and if you have anything going on, if your life's not perfect, And by the way, mine's still not. I work on it every single day.
Yeah, yeah.
Every day I start the day by asking to have any wounding or I call them disempowerments, anything that's disempowering me to be released. And if I need to see the lesson in it, please allow me to see that. You see, we've all got these non-physical parts. They're all champing at the bit to help us.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's what we're all here for together, to evolve, to raise our vibration, to become the change we want to see.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so
they're all waiting just to ask for help. Just say, my non-physical parts or
it is given.
Anyone. Ask and it is given. Exactly.
Well, I just love that title because that's my life motto, and everything I've ever asked for I've received, and it might not be always in the form that I've wished for, and this is why we can't get too specific about our desires. Anyway, we've got a question from a listener, and so it is related to what we're talking about, and that is this a healing sort of work or release work? Is this like inner child release or?
Well, that's a very good
question.
Oh, absolutely. Look, if you've got a wounded inner child in any way, shape, or form, then you do want to do the work on that. Now, sometimes when I'm in session, so I use I move my consciousness out of the way, and I kind of observe what's happening. So I observe what the guides are doing, or what the stream of consciousness is doing, what they're saying. I listen, I learn from them. I sometimes jump in there and say, oh, you can't say that.
Yeah.
That's my human self saying, oh, don't be mean to someone or whatever. But every single time with every single client, they do different healing stuff. Sometimes we do inner child healing because when they're talking to the person, all of a sudden in front of my mind's eye, I see a small child in a cave inside them. So they go there and do that healing there. Other times it's past lives.
Wow, okay.
It really can be anywhere. This is why there are so many healing modalities, so many healers, and so many clients for each and every one of us, because everybody has different things.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? So there is no ideal client. They are just drawn to you when they're ready. And you're probably drawn to people as well that you work with. So
absolutely. Look, I truly believe that it's a co-creation. I often say to clients, hey, do you know how powerful you are? You actually created this. I didn't create it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Your soul spoke to my soul and said, hey, we need some help. And so they put us together. That was you that created that, not me.
Yeah. And so how do you help to guide someone to access their inner divinity?
Essentially on a practical level, I do it through the Go Direct with Your guides. That really helps people to start doing it straight away. But really just through everything that I do. As I said, actually I don't know whether I did say it, but when the guides, when all that is speaking through me, they create transformation through the words that they speak. So the words that they speak carry a vibrational frequency which changes the energy field of the person or people that we're speaking to.
Right.
So
that's through your voice, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about the
all
vibrational...
that is when they're coming through.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about that then, the vibrational frequency of the spoken word. How powerful is that?
Oh, it's pretty powerful. I mean, I literally, I kind of go live on Facebook every day. I'm a bit of a video. I was going to say video whore. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
The reason that I do that is that I know that each and every time there will be someone there who just needs their vibration risen a little bit. Yeah. They just need to see beyond where they're currently seeing. Yep. So even just being on video and saying something or getting someone to breathe with me or doing a quick clearing while we're on the thing as a group, I just get so many people just saying, oh, my God, you were spot on. That was exactly what I needed to hear.
Amazing.
I felt as though something was lifted, all of these sorts of things. So I call myself sometimes an activator. I actually activate within others their frequency, their innate abilities, their own connection to their own guides. Quite often I will do an event or something, and there will be other channels and things there, and the next day they're channeling at whole new levels.
Yeah, sure.
So I just kind of activate that within them, take them to the next level.
So is clearing the same as release?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Because I'm just envisioning a broom, like literally a broom, sweeping things away and just dissolving somehow into the ether.
Well, it's like, when we're at a lower vibration and then we lift up to a higher vibration, it's like everything's been swept away underneath us.
Absolutely. So with your Go Direct with Your Guides training and videos, you've got the free video training there. How can listeners attend, find out about or connect with this training? Where do they go?
Nice and easy. Just straight to my website, which is annealeckson.com.
Okay, that is nice and
easy. Even easier if, I don't know about you, but I'm on Facebook all the time, and so are most of my clients and friends. So you can find me on Facebook. Just search for Anne Aleckson and you'll find me. I'm on Facebook as Anne Aleckson, Australia's leading channel. And also I have Mystery School for Women. It's a free group on Facebook where I share lots of things as well.
This is, we'll talk about the Mystery School for Women after the break because there's quite a bit I want to talk to you about there. But with the Go Direct with Your Guides, so that's accessible 24/7. Is that how it works?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's you just go and sign up and it's all there ready to go.
So you sign up and it helps you with questions or how to connect.
The first thing that we do on day one is we talk about getting yourself set up to do a consistent connection practice or a meditation, consistent meditation. The second day we talk about, I actually do a clearing on the second day to help people to release their fears around having this sort of connection because, we have a lot of fears around it. I know I did.
Sure. Yeah.
The third day, we start talking about what sort of questions to ask and how to ask them. The fourth day, it's about how your answer might come to you, so how you can receive your answer, because there's so many different ways. Yeah. And then on the fifth day, I go through a guided meditation to have you have a connection with your guides.
Right.
So that you can ask the question and receive the answer. It's a meditation that you get guided through. And on the very first day, there's a really brilliant, if I may say so myself, meditation process that I've taken probably 1,000 people through this program, and probably 80% of them have said to me, I have never been able to meditate before. I've never been able to get to that point. It's stupidly simple. So,
but you help people access that space. That's fantastic. And I've got another. Sorry. I've got another question that is related to that. What you were just talking about with connecting with somebody's guides. Now, this is an interesting question. Do you have to, or do you feel compelled to ask permission from the person you're working with that you can connect to their guides? Is that how?
Well, if they have booked a session with me,
through?
Well, if they've booked a session with me, they've given permission. In fact, what happens is someone will book a session with us. Normally, it's a week or two later. I send them an email straight away saying just the act of booking the session, the process has already started. You're going to find yourself feeling more emotional. I did have a very chronically ill client who, within a couple of days, she said she was working in the garden and she saw an angel helping her in the garden. It was just so beautiful. And you feel more energy around you, and you actually start clearing out before I even talk to you. Because when
you've already set yourself in motion. by taking that first step with you.
Well, by asking. See, asking it is given.
Because you've opened yourself up to it.
Yes, exactly. And because your own guides are the ones in control of this. You're the one in control of it. So if you said, hey, I'm ready, I mean...
You're effectively giving permission for that, yes.
Exactly. And if you simply say, I'm ready, and by the way, I do this quite often in my meditation or just sitting down in the morning, I kind of state, you know what, I'm ready to do this thing that I came here to do. Help me to show me how to do it. Yeah. So it's the same thing. If you say I'm ready to heal, I'm ready to start raising my vibration, all manner of beings who are all starting to gather now, I can feel them all. Whoa, very strong. Come flying towards you because they just want to serve us. They just want to help us to evolve so that we can be the change that the world is heading towards. Yep. So just ask.
Absolutely. And I think people, there is in that book, The Secret, which is the mainstream law of attraction book, the pop culture version.
Funnily enough, obviously I was kind of stepping into this work when it first came out.
Yes.
The original movie, because I'd never seen the second version of it. I didn't even know there was a second version of it until recently, because I had bought the original video. I was in Vegas around the time that it came out, and I bought a copy of it.
Yeah.
Not realize, and people were talking to me and not talking about Esther being in it, and I was like, but Esther's in that movie, and they're like, no, she's not.
She was. There was some issue around.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I remember when it all happened.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So sorry, I interrupted you.
No, not at all. It's very. That's a really interesting to hear about that. Because I think it came out about 11 years ago, and that was around the start of your journey.
Yes.
So in the Secret, it gives a very basic rundown on how to ask. How to receive what you want ultimately, and that is 3 words or 3 steps, and that is ask, believe, receive. Now, I really think that people have a blockage around asking. They don't know how to ask.
They don't think they deserve, I think, is the main problem.
Okay, all right.
It's all that whole I'm just a small human being.
Because if you can't get past that first step, you're not going to get into the believing and the feeling it real and the in the receiving of it. So that's very interesting.
Yes, and we're very poor receivers.
That we could speak for 90 minutes about on its own, really. I'm sure.
Yes, that's a volume.
So what we'll talk about when we come back is the Mystery School for Women, which sounds so intriguing. So we'll be talking about that. But one thing I want to know before we go is what I've been on your website, had a good look around. So what is the prize at the end of this journey that you talk about on your website? Prize in inverted commas here. Now that might be to answer. Okay.
I can't remember where I mentioned that on my website, to be honest. You'll have to
I will. I'll direct you to it where I found it. Is so ascension, reaching that level of self-mastery. How do you know when you've achieved that?
Self-mastery. In fact, the word sovereignty is the word that I prefer to use.
Yeah. And we'll
where you are holding ownership of your own life, of your own soul.
Sure.
You know, because we live in a world where we literally have to give our soul away to go, and we get educated to then become someone's, dare I say, slave.
Yes, I know what
we
you mean.
literally give our soul away. The very last job that I had a couple of years ago, I would come home in the afternoon, tears streaming down my face. I felt like my soul was dead. And this was while I was doing this work. But I was in that money stuff. I couldn't get the money stuff sorted. So I was working, and I felt like I was losing my soul. Yeah. And we give up our soul to do what society says we have to do in order to live a good life.
Yeah, okay.
And this is about reclaiming our soul, reclaiming our sovereign right to live life in joy.
In joy, that's right.
You know?
And that is the ultimate aim. I mean, everybody, even people who are supposedly labelled as evil, everybody seeks happiness, whatever happiness means to them.
Exactly.
So, we've all got a different idea.
I often say, because I notice, and you probably do too, people talk, you know, about people being sheeple and being asleep. I have a problem with that, because as far as I'm aware, we are all spiritual masters awakening. So therefore, even the most evil person is awakening at some level into their next evolution.
Yeah.
Right? That's just
I see what you mean.
Understanding. But we are all awakening, and the sooner I awaken, the sooner the people that I can help awaken will awaken. So really, we are supposed to just focus on our own growth.
Sure. And then the rest will unfold as it will.
Yes, yeah.
And in its rightful time and place.
Yes.
Okay. And we're going to go to a break now. So when we come back, we'll talk a bit more about everything else.
Fabulous.
And I look forward to it.
Me too.
Okay.
Lani will be right back here on SOC Radio with more discussion and sharing of all aspects in living spiritually and esoteric topics. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spirit Weavers with Jodie White Wolf Morrison, a weekly 1-hour radio show, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time, featuring those who are dedicated to living their spirituality and exploring how that is woven into their everyday lives through their work, practices and beliefs. Various SOC members from Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum sharing their abilities, knowledge and more. Dates and times will vary. Live in the SOC Radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching Lyceum, classes and courses to certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members-only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Join us on SOC Radio. Host your own online radio show. We welcome inquiries and ideas for your own show live right here on SOC Radio. Share your knowledge, thoughts and abilities. Bring your ideas to life here with us on SOC Radio at spiritualistonline.com. Or join any of our shows as a special guest, speaker or presenter. Check out the liveliest spiritual chat show, the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum, a monthly discussion show, or the Circle of Mediums, a weekly show sharing spirit messages and teaching all aspects of mediumship and psychic abilities. Or join our Christina on the monthly astrology show. Contact us now at socradioshows@gmail.com or facebook.com/socradio. The Circle of Mediums radio show. 6 mediums, healers, psychics, tarot, astrologers, spiritual workers every week, sharing spirit messages, development techniques, guidance and much more. Live in the SOC Radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com. Search SOC Radio. Would you like to contribute readings, thoughts, teachings and time to this 2-hour show? Get in touch at socradioshows@gmail.com. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our 3 vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Astrology Chat with Chrissy Lincoln, Psychological Body and Spirit. Monthly chat show, last Tuesday of the month, 1 to 3 p.m. New Zealand time. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30 second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spirit Weavers with Jodie White Wolf Morrison, a weekly 1-hour radio show, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time, featuring those who are dedicated to living their spirituality and exploring how that is woven into their everyday lives through their work, practices and beliefs. Various SOC members from Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum sharing their abilities, knowledge and more. Dates and times will vary. Live in the SOC Radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses to certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Welcome back to Lani's Esoteric Brunch. Grab a cuppa and a snack as we bring you more topics and discussions, sharing and messages with Lani Sharp.
Hi, welcome back. I'm speaking with Anne Aleckson, Australia's leading channel and CEO of Mystery School for Women, which we're about to talk about now because it is just so fascinating. So, Anne, you're a CEO for the Mystery School of Women. Can you just tell us a bit about what you do there, what that's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the best way to say it is profound, radical, next level ascension. So it's about owning your next dimensional powers, so your innate abilities, healing your life so that you can start to manifest money, magic, and live your mission or purpose.
I like that. Yeah.
Every single day, you know.
On a consistent, sustained basis.
Exactly.
So it's not one-off work, this.
No. It is essentially becoming a new human, someone who lives in this paradigm of always in highest frequency. Don't get me wrong, you still drop down, you still experience grief, you still experience these other emotions, but they don't knock you around as much.
Okay.
You know, it's more a steady. Currently in life, a lot of people have this roller coaster thing going on, up and down, up and down. Yep. What this does is it steadies you out so that you're walking through life knowing, and I don't just mean thinking or believing, but actually knowing with a capital KNOW, knowing that life is happening for you.
Okay. And a lot of people would welcome that information, that sort of, fact, if you like. A lot of people would really need to hear that.
It gives you peace.
Yes.
First you fight it because you kind of, I don't know about other people's circumstances, but I know for myself I had child sexual abuse in my life, these sorts of things.
Yep.
And you know, women who've had experiences of rape, and when someone dies and all of these sorts of things, it's not appropriate to say, well, life is happening for you, so this is happening for a good reason. That's just totally, let's be compassionate first and foremost. But you do come to a place where you can understand what that then led you to do, and how it's all leading you to the perfect place for you to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Now, when you step into this next level of humanity, you actually can see that as it happens. You can see how it's serving you as it happens. So therefore, of course, you don't have that angst, you don't have that fear, you don't have that big drop in vibration.
Yeah, sure. So you reach a level where you won't sort of fall back into those unhelpful patterns of thought and behaviour.
Exactly. Particularly if you've done the work around clearing your belief systems or unhelpful belief systems, and fears and blockages and things like that. Yeah.
So that's the self-empowerment stuff, and the thing is, what I'm interested in, and I think what most people are very interested in learning about is how to sustain that state. So, okay, we can go to a psychotherapist, for example, and they might sort of address one facet of our lives, and then we go, oh, okay, well, I feel a bit better now, but then the next week they might fall back into how they were feeling. A trauma might be deep-seated, for example. So how do you work with, helping people to sustain that state of high vibration frequency?
Yeah, so what you're kind of talking about there is having an ability to not be triggered by outside circumstances.
Yeah.
And the way to not be triggered by outside circumstances is to remove the triggers.
Okay.
So what we were talking about before, do the clearing work, do the shadow work, do what you need to do to allow yourself to return to 0 point or perfection, as I like to call it. Because we were all born that way. We just spent our life trying to convince ourselves that we weren't.
Well, Esther Hicks, through Abraham, says that you can't get rid of anything. So by pushing something away, in a way, it's sort of like what you resist persists. So what you're saying is to remove the trigger, where I would take the approach of remove your reaction to the trigger. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but if the trigger doesn't happen, you don't have a reaction. We're talking the same thing, I think. We're just using different words.
Different, terminology.
Because when you get triggered, you have a reaction. But
sure.
If you do the work around the trigger to clear out that so that the trigger doesn't go off. But it's the same as if you do the work around responding instead of reacting, then when the trigger goes off, you'll go into response, not reaction.
Sure.
So it's kind of the same thing, just a different way to look at it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But say if it's a person in your life, for example. So we talk about everybody being one, and that's all very well, and I believe that we are individuals. So, there is a sense of that separation, as in they have a physical body apart from ours. Now, what if they're the trigger? What if another person is the trigger? How do we sort of then we have to come back to ourselves and deal and see how we're reacting?
Well, I have an ex-husband, so believe me, I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But, I also have family, and as I indicated before, they don't accept what I do. We all have people in our life who we'd like them to behave differently towards us, or we'd like them to believe in us as much as we want to have that belief in ourselves. So, and I know it's a leap, but I'm just going to go back to that same thing. Whenever and I'm just talking about me personally, whenever I have someone who triggers something in me, I never look at them. I always go straight to me. Why did I need that trigger? What is it within me that needed to have that experience? Why did I choose that experience? Self-responsibility, which is one of the 7 states of sovereignty.
And we'll talk about that, And so you mean that if you come back to yourself and look at all that, explore all that within yourself, then that person or that behaviour sort of just naturally falls away.
And that's, absolutely. As we raise our vibrational frequency, and part of that is by taking self-responsibility, by always looking at why did that trigger me? What is it within me that needed that trigger? We look at it, we acknowledge it, we clear it, if that's what we need to do with it, or we make friends with it, as I like to say. Therefore, we don't need someone else who is just another us to trigger it within us in order for us to heal it.
I see. I know what you mean now. So tell us about the importance of self-empowerment and the 7 states of sovereignty and the mystery school for women teachings. Are they all, together?
Well, that's just a little part of it. So running right throughout all of the teachings that I do in the mystery school for women is the 7 states of sovereignty. To reach sovereignty, you have to be completely self-aware. You have to be accepting of yourself. So they're all self-aware, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness. You have to do the forgiveness work. It is the greatest magic when it comes to raising your vibration.
It's a liberator, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. It really is. So, and self-responsibility, as we've just talked about, self-love. Beyond the self-care stuff, but true self-love, self-respect, so looking after your vehicle, respecting it, to know that, there's a phenomenon in the spiritual arena where when someone starts to channel or starts to be a medium or steps into this arena, they give up their human self for this greater thing that's happening to them. You could probably tell that I don't agree with that. Because, again, that means we're putting something outside of ourselves as more important than us, which means that we're not respecting the human self. And as the guides constantly say, you are the physical manifestation of all that is. We couldn't do this without you, and you couldn't do it without us.
Right.
It's a team. You're part of the team.
Absolutely.
You're not this meat suit that a guide speaks through that just gets used by a guide. That's actually a agreement that you have with these other team members. You know what I mean?
So
self-empowerment as well.
Because I've been writing them down as you've spoken, and because this is just absolutely fascinating to me. So they're the 7 states of sovereignty. So that's self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, self-responsibility, self-love, self-respect, and self-empowerment.
Yes.
So it is all work on yourself. There is nothing outside of you.
Always, because as we raise our vibration, as we tap into just becoming part of the oneness or the Akashic field or the source field or the universe or whatever you want to call it, even God for some people, as we step into that level of frequency, there is nothing outside of yourself. So that anything that is happening outside of you is happening for you.
Right.
So if it's triggering you or if it's annoying you, then you go, oh, I wonder why that's annoying me. What is it within me that needed to be annoyed?
So then you begin to see everything and everyone as your teacher or your mirror, in a sense.
Yeah, well, both of those things, yes, yeah. Absolutely. But we don't go around accusing people of triggering us or any of these things. We take full responsibility for it. You see a lot of that out there. So, you know, people saying, oh, you know, I've triggered that within you because you needed to grow. And we've got to move away from that. That's kind of an egoic thing. Not that there's anything wrong with ego.
Well, there is, and it does serve a role, and one of those is protection and preservation, and we know that, as I'm a healer as well. So I'm aware of the ego's sort of part in our lives, but I also know when it isn't playing a helpful role as well. Yes. Okay, and that's a very important distinction, and I think a lot of people, you know, need to do some work around that ego stuff. But that's another topic again for another day. So, Anne, we're going to finish soon. So I would really, but before we go into this next part of our show, which is really going to be fascinating for me and listeners, I just wanted to ask you about your website address or Facebook or Instagram, just how people can get in touch with you or go and see what you do. Yeah, so tell us a couple of addresses.
Well, my website, you'll find everything on there, the Go Direct with Your Guides, also information about a private session with me, and the Mystery School for Women, and it is annealeckson.com.
Right.
Facebook? And Facebook, if you just look for Anne Aleckson, you'll find me, and also I have the Mystery School for Women private group on Facebook. Right. So you can pop in and join us there. We have a lot of fun there.
Part of
very high vibration group. And Instagram, of course, it's not something that I use a lot, but I do hope to start using it more. And of course, it's just again Anne Aleckson.
Okay.
So I'd love to connect with anybody.
Instagram? Yes. Yeah. Great. So that's how people can find you, and also to just have a look at and get a feel and for the sort of work you do. That's great. Thanks, Anne.
My pleasure.
Okay, so what we're going to move into now is pretty powerful, I feel, or I do feel it will be. Now, are you able to channel something for us?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You know, it's funny because as we were talking about ego a moment ago, they started to talk to me as if they wanted to share something. So, So what I would like to do is just simply invite everyone listening and yourself to just take a nice deep breath in.
Yep.
And just breathe out and relax. Allow anything that doesn't serve you to be released in this moment. There's nothing else that you need to do but to be here right now. Nothing else out there that needs your attention. Just bring all your energy and focus to this moment in time as we invite your own higher aspects, your own soul self, to be present with you. You might now feel them around you. Just allowing yourself to come into this moment in time, right here, right now. We are, of course, all that is, as we have heard ourselves introduced as in these few moments. We thank you very much for your attention. And dear one who is having this conversation with us, it is an honour to spend time with you. You are also on a great path. You've taken the steps, and we encourage you to simply keep going. We know that life is not as easy as it could be right now, and we just simply want to remind you that nothing is going wrong, that you are going right. Thank you. Now, we wish to address the entire audience, indeed anybody who might listen to this in the future or indeed in the past. We are all that is, all that ever was and all that ever will be. And we want you to understand, we want you to feel right now that we acknowledge you as being that also. You are the physical manifestation of all that is. We are the non-physical and you are the physical. And we could not do this without you, because we do not have hands, we do not have feet, we do not have mouth to speak with. In other words, what we're saying to you is that you are that which will change the world. It all depends on you, you see. Yes, we are here to be of service to you, to give you the strength to get through, to provide the inspiration as it's needed until you get to a point where you trust yourself, know yourself, love yourself enough that you simply get on with it. But until that time, and since you have been calling out for us, so many of you on your knees, please help, life has got to be better than this. We all come, you see, to serve you. Now, please understand, we say we all come, but we want you to understand that we are simply other aspects of you. We are simply other aspects of you. You are all that is. You are the physical manifestation of God. You chose to come here at this time for this great momentous occasion that you are going through, this evolution of humanity, this vibrational frequency lift of your universe, where dimensions that you've never known before are coming to be seen now. Dimensions beyond those that you currently understand. We are all gathering now. Your star families come back to raise this planet and humanity into its next cycle, one of peace, one of ease, one of joy, one of glory. You are all that is, and we love you very much. We answer your call. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. That was very powerful.
And I always giggle when I come out because it feels so good.
It's fantastic. Like I said, I can't think of any other word but powerful. So when you come out of that channeling session, if indeed you do, how do you, and end is the wrong word, but how do you finish a session, like a channeling session with somebody?
Okay. So because years ago there used to be a stop-start, but it's not so much anymore. Like literally this is what happens. I come out, I giggle because it feels so beautiful when I'm in that state, because it feels like I'm just this beam of love. It feels like I'm full of love. So you can imagine, I used to say that it feels like the top of my head is removed and I get poured full of love. So then as I come out of it, I'm still in that. And this is the benefit of working on raising your own vibrational frequency. So I carry this vibration with me. Sometimes it's not as strong as it is right now, but literally I can move my consciousness out of the way and move it back in very, very quickly now. It's just a matter of we're almost one, so to speak, because we are all one, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like to think that I live in that.
Yeah. And maintain that sort of level. And this
as much as I can, being a human being.
Yes, of course there will always be distractions and as you said, you can drop to a lower vibration at times.
Yes.
And we all react to circumstances. I think it is essentially it's a primal survival mechanism at times too, to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
I am sitting here with my eyes closed, just so you know. The light's a little bit too bright.
So powerful for you, I could imagine. And so I suppose anybody who was listening to that channeling just then would resonate with either all of it or parts of it or even just one word. And that's,
or even just the feeling of it, the energy that you can feel. I don't know, did you experience that, feeling that energy?
I did, and it was but I'm a very, things speak to people in different ways. Like, you know how you've got your kinesthetic people, your audio-visual audio and visual people. Yeah. So people learn and they also receive things in different ways. So because I'm a word person, I'm an author, so I've always had a real thing with words. So when I hear a song, it's not the instruments or the rhythm or the beat, it's the words, the lyrics.
Me too, yeah.
They speak to me. And so what I'm saying is that when you were speaking then, when you were channeling, there was a certain sentence in there that really spoke to me, and that was the most powerful part of that session. So and other people will pick up completely different, out of that. So that's fantastic.
Well, and that speaks to where I said before that they speak to you where you are.
Yep. Yeah.
So often when I'm doing a group thing, someone will hear one thing and someone else will have heard something completely different.
And so a listener has just written in to tell us that the person has said that for me the energy is very high for me, and it was like that person left the earth.
Yeah, you see, now I don't know who that person is, but I'm tapping into their energy right now. And when I was going into channel, and I think we were saying that we could feel all the energies coming to join you, all of your own non-physicals.
Yes.
I had an experience of these, quite a few, so lots of numbers of angels, and I feel like this was this person. So
this person has
feeling that angelic energy.
Yes, specifically. For me, the energy is very high for me, and it's like I have left this earth and I am looking down from the earth, if that makes sense. So this person is looking down. That's
beautiful.
What a powerful feeling.
With the angel thing around, as I was experiencing that, obviously I've tapped into the listener who was about to go into this experience, because the angels that I saw were around this person and lifting them up.
Yep.
So that makes total sense.
Yes.
Beautiful. Very special person.
For me, it was when you mentioned about these beings being around us, or it was that moment that I really felt that. So
yeah, beautiful. Because
they're
just letting you know that they're there.
That's great, and it's really comforting to know, isn't it, that
yes.
This all that is within us at all times. We can access that.
Exactly. We are part of it. We are it.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, look, and it has been so fascinating speaking with you, and I really appreciate your time today. So
I have absolutely loved it. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it's been amazing. And it's something that I personally really resonate with, because I work with metaphysics a lot, and I write about it, I speak about it, mostly write about it because I am a word person, and it's one of those boundless, infinite topics that it just
it really is.
You really can. It is.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom today, and so next week, I will be speaking with special guest Louise Geary, an Activate Your Feminine teacher. And the title of our show will be Activate Your Feminine, Be Truly, Deeply, Vividly You. So you'll see that promo ad on my Facebook page, which is Lani Sharp Author. And I hope you can all listen in next week as well. So thanks, Anne.
Thank you, Lani. Thank you so much. Blessings to you.
Fantastic. And you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for Lani Sharp's Esoteric Brunch. See you next time for more. Bring your friends and join us weekly with Lani for an esoteric brunch. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our 3 vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website.